In this video, we'll talk about the lawsuit that was filed by 75,000 beneficiaries, people that are waiting for the green cards and work permits to be printed and issued. As you know, it's been a big problem for those of you that are waiting, and I want to report some good news about the lawsuit. So let's dive right in. I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me for another video. In this video, we'll talk about the lawsuit that was filed about a week ago, specifically trying to help those that are waiting to get their green cards and work permits to be printed and issued. As you know, I've reported about a particular problem that happened a few weeks ago where people get their work permits and green cards approved. It shows online that they got approved. They have a receipt that it was approved, but the physical cards never arrived. It was reported in multiple media outlets, and then attorneys were filing lawsuits. And in this video, I wanted to give you an update as to what's going on with this lawsuit and how it's going to impact your cases if you've been waiting for so long. If you're here for the first time, please subscribe to our channel, click that bell to be notified of any new videos that we released, as well as give us that big like, because if not, YouTube is not going to share the video to more people that are interested in this content. Once again, I am Jacob Sapochnick, and I am an immigration attorney located in San Diego, California, and we help clients in all 50 states, and we provide updates for you every single week. So let's dive in right into this video. As you remember in our previous video that I reported about green cards and work permits and not being printed, I mentioned that there was a class action filed against the USCIS, specifically forcing the government to act. Well, I've got some good news. The lawsuit was successful, and the court granted a temporary injunction forcing the government to issue those work permits within 7 days. As I mentioned before, the main plaintiff in that lawsuit, Subramanian, was a person that had her EAD card approved sometime in April, but she never received the physical card, and as a result, she lost her job in June. What happened in this particular lawsuit, as soon as this lawsuit was filed, the government, guess what? Went ahead and approved the EAD card for Ms. Subramanian. And of course, the idea was that they thought that since she got her work permit, this case is now moot and there's no reason for the lawsuit to continue. But of course, what the USCIS doesn't realize is that this is the class action. And not only that this lawsuit was going to help Ms. Subramanian get her EAD, but there were about 75,000 members of the class that were waiting for their green cards and their work permits, and therefore, and as a result, this injunction was granted. The government was very sneaky in this case, and specifically claimed that there was no jurisdiction in this case. Of course, it failed because Ms. Subramanian actually resided in Ohio, and therefore the court had full jurisdiction to grant this temporary injunction. The judge says that the court has jurisdiction to review the government actions, specifically when there are unreasonable delays involved, like in this case. The plaintiffs in this lawsuit also had to show that they had immediate harm. As you know, especially many of our viewers who were sending me messages and private texts saying that they're just worried, waiting for their work permits. They don't know if they're going to be able to keep their jobs or if they're going to be able to start new jobs. In this case, the immediate harm was that quite a few of the plaintiffs couldn't start new jobs. And that was a problem because if they can't start a job, they're not able to earn money and they're not going to be able to support their families. So that's immediate harm. A few of the plaintiffs were also living in temporary housing. They wouldn't be able to get an apartment unless they actually get a work permit. So all these examples were perfect to show that there was immediate harm in this case. The court also said that because of the severity of the matter, they were able to issue this temporary injunction even though there was no final decision on the actual case. There's going to be another hearing sometimes later in August to make a decision on that case, but they realized that the matter was so severe that they had to issue this temporary injunction, forcing the government to issue those work permits within 7 days. What's really interesting about this lawsuit is that most of the plaintiffs, if not all of them, were able to show immediate harm to their livelihood, to their ability to continue to work and stay in the United States. Essentially, if you don't have a job, how can you live and survive in this country? So the immediate harm was very clear, and it just, throughout this case, the government tried to use different excuses. They tried to use different legal arguments as to why this case is moot. Like I said, as I mentioned to you before, as soon as this lawsuit was filed, they immediately, within 48 hours, were able to give Ms. Subrahmanyam her work permit, even though she was waiting for it since April with no response to her inquiries. As soon as this lawsuit was filed, they issued that, trying to make this matter moot. Well, guess what? It didn't work. And so this lawsuit is a big win for immigrants that are waiting for their work permits and green cards. It also shows that in other cases, like we have a lot of other lawsuits that are pending, specifically for DV lottery, hopefully it gives some hope that maybe we'll be able to see some similar results in other class actions, specifically for DV lottery, as well as the new lawsuits that are being formed right now to try to challenge the decision that the USCIS is not accepting DACA cases. So hopefully this information was helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Again, this is a huge news for those people. We have so many people that are waiting for their work permits. One important caveat is this is only available for people that already had approvals, right? So if you had an approval on your work permit, but you have not received the physical card, those are the ones that should be getting their cards within 7 days. If you're still pending and you haven't received a decision on your card, that is outside of this particular lawsuit, and you still have to wait patiently for the USCIS to approve your card. So it's specifically for those that had their cards approved but never received the physical cards because of the whole mess. As you remember, USCIS moved the printing of the cards in-house, and obviously they failed to continue to print those cards and provide the service that people are paying for. So that is important to understand. So once again, hopefully you found this information useful. If you're here for the first time, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click that bell to be notified because we produce videos every single week. And also, I highly encourage you to join our private Facebook group. The link is in the description of this video. In that group, we share private information, up-to-date content that will be relevant for you, and also other information that you might find interesting. So hopefully you'll do so, and make sure you continue to keep to post your questions in the comments. I'll be back and answer those throughout the week. So once again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in our next video.